I'd like to call upon Nicole's subconscious, please.
Yes, my dear.
Thank you so much. Are we able to do a body scan for the body and see what's happening?
Yes, she's in a relaxed state. Her throat has been a little bit sore, so we're going to work on that.
What was the significance and purpose of her sore throat? What can you tell us?
Um, Throughout her life in this lifetime, she has had sore throats, tonsillitis. It's very much to do with her throat chakra and her resistance to speaking the truth, her fear of being vulnerable. She's done a lot of work on this area, but there are always still some occasions where she is still holding back, and she's aware that when she does feel pain in her throat, there is a message for her that she needs to speak up.
Fantastic. Is there anything that she is currently holding back that you would like her to speak up to?
This situation, the truth about what is happening, she is aware of the information that she knows, but there is still something that's holding her back from sharing it. And obviously she does need to have discernment as to who she shares it with, because not everybody is ready to hear this information. But she is in contact with many people who will find it shocking naturally, but that she's underestimating their ability to accept this information, and perhaps she may need to share this information with them.
I see. As we were discussing earlier, she does listen to many influencers who are not sharing the information about the new Earth. What would you like her to know about those?
We have been trying to make her aware of the fact that she is distracting herself by placing too much importance on the influencers who are sharing their version of their truth, whether or not they are consciously or unconsciously blocking the information. We are encouraging her to go within more and listen less to those influencers, because the information that she needs for herself and for those she's sharing with is already within her. And so we want her to be less distracted by those and go more within, because we can share with her what she needs to know and how she can help other people to see what they need to see to help them on their journey.
Fantastic. Thank you. It does seem very significant that she does have her own following. Can we assume that those who are attracted to her Instagram account are being guided divinely by their own teams?
Yes, the Soul Priestess was what we asked her to start up on Instagram about 7 years ago, when she was going through her own life changes. And at the time, she didn't understand what we were asking her to do. But despite that, she did start that. And naturally, the right people have found this account, and we have encouraged her to step up her game and to do more talks, more lives, which she has been doing. And a lot of the healings that she's going through in her own personal life are there to not only help her, but to help others. So now she is realizing that as she's going through a difficult moment in relationships, she is now using her soul priestess, the soul priestess, as a way to not only heal herself and talk herself through this this situation, but on the collective, there are so many people that are feeling similar ways, like, changes in relationships and, learning to surrender and step back, because it doesn't matter how much you may try to help another person. If they're not ready to be helped, you have to step back and you need to take care of yourself. Things like that. And she has had a few things happen over the last few weeks where she's just been able to sit with that emotion and then just have the download of, okay, it's time to now do a talk. And she's just been able to step aside and allow for her feelings to come through. And she has been helping a lot of people by doing that, because it's coming fresh out of her while she's going through it. And people can pick up on the authenticity of her journey, and it really helps them to look within themselves and to see that, wow, I'm feeling that way too. Oh my goodness, it's not just me. Okay. So this is just a beautiful platform for her to be able to share her truths that can in turn help others.
Thank you so much, Subconscious, for that confirmation. And in terms of her capability of love, this is something that I found incredibly extraordinary about Nicole, is her profound capacity for pure love. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, this has been a double-edged sword for her, because being love is so profoundly beautiful and so attractive. But then again, it has also attracted some of the wrong kind of attention. And throughout her life, she has attracted so many to her, but also repelled many who are in fear of her light, who are in fear of looking at their own light. So she's had to endure many different scenarios and emotions relating to her natural ability to love, and to be able to see beyond other people's reactions to her, and not take them personally. It's taken her a while to be able to learn how to do that. Initially, she fell into the hole of sadness and despair, because the love that she emits, she was hoping to find in other people as well. But she soon found that what she's expecting to find out there is, it's very rare to find that sort of love that she feels and that she knows exists. It's like her threshold is so high, and then she looks around and can't find it outside of herself. So over time, she's fallen down into deep despair, but then as a result, she has learnt that it's the love that she has is what she needs. She doesn't need to find it outside of herself. And in fact, the more that she nourishes and nurtures herself and values what she's capable of, the more that is what is going to feed her, and cleanse her, and give her the energy that she needs to not only profoundly heal herself but heal others. So it's something that she's had to learn, and now that she has come to the point where she can go to that place at any point that she needs to. She sees that it's an ever flowing. It doesn't end. There's so much of it. She just needs to tap into that flow, and there's enough for her, and there's enough to share around. But she needs to tap into that flow, and she can only do that when she is protected energetically, when she is when she's contained within herself. And when she is contained within herself, she can send it unconditionally to all of those around her, even the ones she doesn't know who she's sending it to. But it's just this, it's like she's turning on a tap and just allowing this flow to go wherever it needs to go. It's like, if you imagine, just opening a tap and you just watch the water flow through. It's just this beautiful pink energy that, once it hits the ground, the water just goes in different directions, like finds tunnels and nooks and crannies. And that's what's happening, is that you don't know where the water's going. It's just going. And that's what she's able to do. She's able to turn on that tap and allow that love energy to flow wherever it needs to go. It's just going through her. She doesn't know the destination, but she's just allowing herself to be that vessel that connects heaven to earth.
So beautiful, fantastic, and it makes so much sense. Her life journey so far. So that is so exciting. Thank you so much, Subconscious. As you know, we were talking earlier, and she still feels like something big is coming. Some big things are coming. What do you want her to understand about that?
We've been preparing her and showing her how to contain herself despite external circumstances. And she is learning how to do that, and she's going to need to up that game, because there's a lot of density around. There are lots of people in deep despair, and they are going to need all of the love and the support that they can get, because those who are not aware and in tune don't have the tools that can help them to get out of the rut that they may find themselves in, because they haven't chosen to wake up to the signs. And so by her going through her own trials and tribulations of life, and going through all of the hardships that she went through on a personal level, letting go of attachments, letting go of the need to know, moving the ego aside and allowing life to show you where you need to be, connecting to source, connecting to that beautiful energy that is always there. She has learned on a personal level that that is what has gotten her through her personal struggles. And now she's being shown that she's being asked to help other people through their personal struggles, and universally, as things start to become a little more intense, the tools that she has acquired will be needed on a personal, also on a mass scale. So we're just helping her to prepare for what's to come, where more people are going to need what she is able to bring through.
Thank you. And
we are asking her to rest a lot now, because it is the quiet before the storm.
Okay, thank you. I do understand. She's feeling like she's decluttering her apartment. Do you want her to know if she needs to move to a new location, or what would you like her to understand about this?
We are showing her that she's in a position now where she can trust us. She can trust us fully, and she can allow herself to be shown every step of the way, and for her to trust herself that she is receiving the signs and messages from us, and that when she does act on them, you know, for a long time she was receiving the messages, but she was ignoring them. And so we're showing her that now that she is heeding to it, she's listening, she's getting the message that she doesn't need to hold on to so many things. You know, it just happened that we were telling her probably about 4 weeks ago that she needs to do some clearing of one of the rooms that, you know, just clothes that are small and they need to go to charity. And she got that download in the morning, and then she went down to her letterbox and she saw those little pink bags that come from like the Salvation Army. They come from a charity where they put bags in everyone's letterbox so that they can fill them up and leave them outside, and they trucks will come and collect them on a Tuesday, for example. So that morning we were telling her that she really does need to clear out that room. And then when she went to her letterbox, she saw that pink bag in her letterbox, a plastic bag. And then she took it up, and that was the confirmation. So she's becoming more and more in tune with the messages that we're giving her, and we're actually physically then backing it. So she knows that that's what we're asking of her to do. So she's not resisting anymore, and this is a great thing because we are helping her to let go of attachments. We are showing her that her home is her vehicle, it's her physical body, and that home is what she's nurturing and nourishing now. That is her true home. Anything outside of that is just a bonus, but it's not what her essence is. And so she's starting to see that she's able to let go of anything that she needs to at the drop of a hat, because she's now starting to trust that if she's being asked to move to a different space, it'll be easier for her to do that if she has less baggage weighing her down and anchoring her to one place. So we're just helping her to see that everything she needs is around her. It's her physical body, it's her energy, it's with her.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Subconscious, when we had our other session and you were showing her other lifetimes and she saw herself in Egypt, can you confirm that was Egypt for us?
We were showing her Egypt because that's what she can relate to on a physical level. She associates Egypt with, you know, the opulence and the royals and the masters and all of that. But she, in that lifetime, it was around the Atlantean times, as you had discussed. But she hadn't quite made that analogy at the time. So the closest thing to that was Egypt, but it was in those days of Atlantis.
Fascinating. Okay, and in terms of the exit point for that that lifetime in Lemuria, in Atlantis, can you remind us the significance and what was happening there?
She was a very powerful healer, and she was called to do a lot of healing in a society where there was a lot of darkness, there was a lot of manipulation. There was a ruler who didn't have the people's interests at heart, and she was supporting, she was bringing love and light to him. She was his fuel, and he was using that and transmuting it into negativity for his own self-empowerment. And so her love and light and her ability to work with the light was not being used the right way. And she was in captivity in that lifetime. And so she had no choice but to do her light work, even though it was serving the dark forces. And yeah, that lifetime ended in chaos. And she was burnt at the stake. She was killed for being the light.
I see. And so, in terms of her being held captive, can you explain to me more about that? Was she born and raised in Atlantis?
She had come there to serve. She had come there to serve. That was her mission. And yeah, it was a contract where she came in to serve this regime. And it was coming from, there was a lot of fear around her life, and she was naturally able to tune into higher frequencies, but she was in captivity. She was being forced to do her work, and she knew that her light work was not being used for good, for the good of humanity or the good of the people. And it was being manipulated by the dark energies, but she didn't have the strength to fight for the light in that lifetime. She had to remain hidden and do her work undercover for fear of being for fear of being killed, which is what happened at the end. But it's because of that lifetime that she has struggled with accepting and loving and honoring her gifts, because there is still remnants and memories on a soul level of the punishments that she endured for having these gifts. And so in this lifetime, it took her a long time. She resisted her gifts for a long time. And she had to make some major life changes to honor who she is and her gifts. And we have been supporting her the whole time, because we wanted her to see that now is the time for her to come out of the shell, to come out of hiding, and that now is the right time energetically for her to flourish and to be in her entirety and be the love that she is, because in this lifetime she is needed to do this work and to serve humanity with her abilities, to bring love to those who are needing it. So this is part of her healing in this lifetime, which is quite contrasting to the lifetime of Atlantis, where she had to hide. In this lifetime, we are helping her to come out. We're like pulling her out of. It's like, if I was to give you an image, it's like a turtle hiding under his shell, and we're like pulling out his head, pulling out his neck, and saying, "Come out, come out. You don't need to hide anymore. Your services are needed and are of immense value." So, yeah, this is what we are encouraging her to do now.
Thank you so much, Subconscious. That's amazing. In terms of the time frame or the existence of her in that lifetime in Atlantis, when she did exit, was this towards the end of the collapse of Atlantis or somewhere else in their life experiences?
I'm getting 30. I don't know if that was an age or...
I did really butcher that question. So when she was living there, was this at the end of the Atlantis civilization?
It was at the end of the regime. The regime was coming down. the regime that had held people captive for a long time, it was coming down. So yes, there was major uprising.
And thank you, subconscious. Do you get a sense what happened after she shifted from that lifetime in Atlantis? How did things go for the Atlanteans?
Yeah, it wasn't much longer until it was no longer.
I see. And so for the leader of what she described as the cult, what happened to him? Did he die with her in that exit point that they had in Atlantis?
She died. He ordered to have her killed. So, but he died not long after. He was overthrown.
And what sort of leadership, what sort of role did he actually have in Atlantis?
I'm getting that he was a conqueror. A master manipulator. Help. People were in fear. So they they followed him out of fear. There were severe punishments for people who didn't obey.
I see. Okay, thank you. It's really interesting. And then you did show her a lifetime where she was a priestess in Lemuria. Is in terms of how lifetimes go, I guess, could you say it was before or after that Atlantis lifetime?
I'm not getting a clear indication of where they are in relation to each other.
Could they be parallel lives potentially?
Yeah, perhaps, because in one lifetime she was the light hiding, and in the other lifetime she was the light blossoming. In the Lemurian times, she was the light blossoming. So it was almost like like the yin and yang. Yeah, the one experience, yeah, was controlled by darkness, and then the other experience was being able to express yourself in the light without fear.
And do you get a sense that she lived, is it for 30 years in Atlantis or not? Is that something else?
Yes, 30 came up, but it could be the age that she was when she passed over.
Okay, thank you so much. And so then tell me about her lifetime in Lemuria, please. How is it that she became a priestess?
see lots of blue and lots of purples, blues and greens. Just a magical society, a magical time. Lots of sea creatures, mermaids. It was a lifetime where there were deep connections with the earth and with the land, with the elements of earth and wind and air and fire, and there weren't books, but there was knowledge and wisdom. There was the mother figure, the mother energy was very, very powerful, and the mothers were the teachers, and they were the ones that nurtured society. The children learned so much from the mothers, and the goddess feminine energy was very, very prominent. Everything was about love and about connection, connection to source and nurturing. Children were brought up surrounded by love and community. It was very different to how children are brought up here today, the education system and the rules. In this society, there weren't rules as such. It was just everyone just, there was such a high consciousness that people didn't trick other people. There was this underlying love and respect towards one another and towards treating each other with fairness, treating the other as you would like to be treated. And it was almost like a knowing. It was just a way that the society lived. And so she had a lot of wisdom and a lot of power, but in a beautiful way. A lot of feminine love, power, and wisdom, where she was able to empower others to be the best versions of themselves. It wasn't coming from a place of ego. It was coming from a place of, well, we rise by lifting others. And in this lifetime, she had a beautiful big following, but she was nurturing her followers. She was feeding them and nourishing them and showing the mothers and the grandmothers how to infiltrate into the younger generations, how to teach them about love and about survival, where everybody can work together. It was a very beautiful lifetime that she had there.
Fantastic. And so then what happened in that lifetime? What was her exit point?
can see flooding. I can see flooding. Lots and lots of water rising. I can see that the tides turned later on in that lifetime. And it became less pure. It became less pure. The society became, there was contamination. Yeah, it was like eaten by the earth. It was like pulled underwater.
Okay. So can you take her to just prior to that event, and can you show her what was happening?
Very dark forces. Dark forces. Taken over by became impure. But many of the Lemurians could shapeshift. And she could shapeshift. And so because they were such high energy beings, they were able to become a rock or become whatever they needed to become. So a lot of these beings are still around, but they are on different dimensions. So they cannot be seen by us as humans. But they were able to shapeshift and just enter to a different dimension and become non-physical. Mount Shasta is where Mount Shasta. A lot of
So Mount Chester is significant because a lot of the beings shapeshifted into.
they're still there. They're still there. There's still pockets. There are pockets of places where they still are, but they're in a different dimension. Hawaii, I'm seeing Hawaii.
Okay, and so do you get a sense of um, what when she was in the flood? Then what happened to her? Can you remind me?
Yeah, she was able to shapeshift.
And where did she go?
I'm seeing a mermaid. Seeing a mermaid. Able to live in the ocean.
Can you repeat that, please?
I'm seeing a mermaid. Being able to survive underwater.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's fascinating. Can you give her a sense of what her body looked like when she was living on land in Lemuria? Can she describe it for us?
Slim and tall. Lots of crystals. Lots of crystals around on her. Lots of crystals.
Okay, and when she turned into a mermaid, then what happened to Lemuria? Did it resurface or was it still under, majority of it under the water?
Yeah, the majority of it was underwater.
Okay, fascinating. And what else would you like her to know about that lifetime of her living in Lemuria?
We are wanting her to activate and remember that lifetime, because many of the features that she had, many of the gifts that she had in that lifetime are what she's drawing on in this lifetime. She's remembering her powers, she's remembering her skills and abilities, and by her uncovering and unlocking this information, she's able to use these gifts and reactivate them, not only for herself but to show others who may also have forgotten that they have those gifts, forgotten how powerful they are. And in our society today, we see the word power and powerful as a negative word, because a lot of people associate being powerful with being manipulative or being egotistical or anything like that. But she's remembering that it was amazing, it was beautiful to have power and to use that power for good. And this is what she's being encouraged to remember, because a lot of us in this lifetime have suppressed our own power. We're being asked to actually activate it and remember that we are so powerful, we are so sovereign, and we have all that we need within us. If only we would believe it and begin to activate the powers that we have, we will shock ourselves at how magical we are. now seeing that she is able to use her, to remember her powers in order to heal her body. This is something that is being activated in her now, but she was able to do that in that lifetime as a Lemurian. And, you know, we've given our power away to professionals and to institutions and to the medical profession, which there is always a place for in our world. But we've forgotten that before we listen to any other practitioner, we must listen to ourselves first, and our body can speak to us and communicate with us. And as I was saying at the beginning of the session with the throat chakra, is that her having a sore throat, there is a message that her body is telling her, and she listens to the message, she will be able to heal that throat so that it's not sore anymore. And she's able to do that with her own consciousness. So we are helping her to remember the powers that she had in the Lemurian days, and we want her to reactivate these powers because they exist within her DNA and they exist in her being. They just need to be activated so that she can be fully aware of how much she can heal herself, and so can others.
Thank you so much, subconscious. Are you able to help and assist her to be profoundly activated to recall all her skill sets from all lifetimes here on Earth?
Yes, we are doing that now.
Thank you so much.
Another thing that we are showing her is that she is telepathic, and many of you are telepathic, and she has been using her abilities more and more to connect with loved ones who may not be living with her currently, but she's connecting with them on a telepathic level, and she's able to connect on a soul level with those that she loves. So we're showing her that there are so many gifts and talents and skills and wisdoms that she has acquired from that lifetime, which we are assisting her in reactivating, because it's not only for her, but it's something that many people can do if they believe they can do it, and if they can let go of all the conditioning and all the density that has led them to believe that they are able to do these things.
Fantastic. That is so wonderful, and that'd be great confirmation for her. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. And what else shall I be asking? In terms of her starseed planet, she is very curious about the actual name for it. What are you able to give her?
We're showing her what we showed her last time, which is this planet of oneness. We don't have a name for it.
What is she noticing on this planet of oneness?
It's like a sea. It's like a sea of water. and always showing her like reds and purples and blues. It's like the whole sea is just all the consciousnesses, everything. It's all the oneness, and it's a place where it's just a whole. It's a whole. It's a place where she goes to receive the wholeness of who she is. It's a place where there's so much love and so much oneness. There's no separation. It's just an abundance of love. And when she taps into that energy, there's no separation. And that energy of the whole, I could just see the whole. It's like the sea. It's everything that works together. And when she leaves that place, it's like if you think of an ice cube, it's like a part of that sea becomes an ice cube, that becomes its own entity, that leaves that wholeness. But then when it comes back, it's like that ice cube melts back into the ocean of wholeness and unity. Does that make sense?
Yes, it sounds beautiful. And when was the last time she was there? Has she been back there since exploring these lifetimes here on Earth?
That is her home base. That is her home base, and it's where she goes in her dream state to energize. Yeah, she goes back to that place to energize, and she visits in a dream state, and she does have support from her team from there that are guiding her and reminding her where she comes from and what her purpose is.
Beautiful. She had a question about the name Akula. Can you tell her the significance of that guide?
Akuna is a name we have given her. It's a name that we gave her when she asked what her soul name was. And it is Aboriginal origin. It's connected to Mother Earth, the nurturer, the giver. It's very much the feminine energy of nurturing.
Fantastic. Thank you. How many physical human lives has she had on Earth?
has had many lifetimes here in different parts of the planet. But we can't give you a number.
Okay. Did she have any non-human lives here?
Do you mean non-physical?
Yes, or any animals or other consciousnesses that may not be in a human body.
She's had physical and non-physical.
Fascinating. And what is she going to do after the shift? How is she going to experience the shift, and what is going to happen to her after that?
She knows that she is being called to be of service. That's what she knows. She knows that she's here to play the role of being of service to help others, and she is practicing this already. She's using her gifts and her ability to connect to energy to help assist in the ascension. And she knows that she will be useful on the new earth because she has chosen to do a lot of the work prior to the shift. She's accumulated the skills to be able to assist those who are in transition, by remaining calm and balanced amongst the chaos and the fear and the worry. She's learning that skill now because she knows that's going to be needed. She knows that being calm and balanced is what she is learning and needing to master, because she may be a minority and she has to she's learning to be self-contained, so that when she does transition, she will be able to provide support for those who are needing it.
Okay, thank you. Will she be going to the new earth?
At this point, yes. But she can always change her mind at any point.
I see. Thank you. And will she be experiencing what we term the old earth experience at all?
At this point, um, it doesn't seem that she will be experiencing the major disasters. At this point, it doesn't seem that she will be experiencing the major disasters. But she may be there at the beginning of some of the, I mean, they're already happening now, so.
Do you see her supporting people because of the laser event?
The laser event is going to knock people off their axis. So just at that point there will be a lot of assistance required. Yeah, at that point there will be her and many light workers will be needed at this time. And she will be of service wherever she's needed.
Thank you. And we trust that she's preparing herself, as you said earlier, to be able to be of service the best she can for those who are needing that support.
Yeah. And having the awareness of what is to come and being balanced about it is something that we believe is so important, because in that there is so much letting go of attachments of what we believe to be our world and our life. And by her learning how to detach and come back to herself and come back to the fact that everything she needs is within her, is making it easier for her to accept the transition and knowing that it's like the human self, which is like that piece of ice that's separate, but then once it goes to that community of oneness, like it goes back into the sea, it just becomes part of all that is. So yeah, she's starting to see that. She's starting to learn to be okay with and trusting that things are going to be better. Things are going to be better. We just don't understand it on a human level. When we come back to ourselves, that is really who we are. We are source.
I love that. Thank you. And I also love how much she's really trusting her intuition and how much she respects the information she gets from her guides and teams. I think as soon as she started doing that, her life truly blossomed.
Yes, she resisted this for a very long time, and that's coming back to her times in Atlantis. The fear of owning her power, the fear of owning her truth, the fear of tapping in to all that is, to source. And so she's slowly dismantling that fear, and she's now come to a place where she recognizes that, you know, that version of her had to be that in order to survive in that time. But the version of her that she is today is becoming more and more in line with who she really is, because she's, you know, dismantling all of these false belief systems that have not served her. And it's like peeling that onion, you know, it's like all of those false facades, false sense of self. You know, it's like peeling an onion layer by layer by layer by layer. And in doing that, she finally gets to the little seed, the little essence within the onion, which is her true seed. And so it's all of the unknowing, of the unraveling of who she's not, to find who she really is. And this is where she is now starting to trust that little seed of who she really is, behind all of those false realities that she created for herself in order to survive. And she is so raw and so sensitive and so energetically sensitive, which is because the ego is almost, you know, it's just becoming more and more redundant. And so this is sometimes why she feels sensitive to the outside world and sensitive to harsh energies. And that's why she does have to self-preserve and self-protect when she goes out there into the world, because she's dismantled all of these facades that she was able to use if she needed them in certain situations. And so she's coming closer and closer to the true essence of who she is and who all of you are. Everyone has the ability to do this if they choose to take this path. And it's not easy at times, but once you overcome each hurdle and you heal each issue and each person and each relationship, you get to the point where you're not carrying these heavy burdens with you anymore, and you become that little essence, that little inside of the onion where you don't need to pretend anymore. That's when you get to the pure essence of the fact that you are perfect, and you were always perfect from the day you came here. So going back to remembering that.
So beautiful. Thank you. And in terms of you, subconscious, what collective do you work with?
Pleiadian.
Lovely. Okay, thank you so much. Is there any final messages that you would like her to know? And is there anything else that you know will help her? We are so excited to watch the unraveling and the process and the journey in which she has chosen to take, and the courage that she's had to let go of belief systems that were no longer serving her, and to be able to see everything in her 3D life from a much higher perspective. Everything. She is able now to look at everything face value and say, okay, what is this showing me? What is it that I need to learn? How is this helping me? Rather than her old self that would have said, you know, why is this happening to me?
Now she's saying, why is this happening for me? And when you're able to look at life in that way, you understand that everything that happens is to help you, not to hurt you. So watching this process has been it's been beautiful to watch, and we hope that she will continue to share her perspective with others who are not quite who have not quite found themselves yet and are still peeling off those layers of the onion. We hope to continue to watch her assist others to be able to do that, so that they can find that essence of themselves, which is basically coming back to love, coming back to love.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that she has been able to have this profound epiphanies, and it gives me so much joy to see this epic rediscovery of herself. So, thank you so much, Subconscious, for the information you've provided today. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.